Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan Battle video. Today we're going to be knocking out one of the new Red Zone missions. So along with the Worldwide Download Celebration this year, they added 3 missions to the Omega fight, right? So the first one we did already, which is just to beat Omega with a full Extreme team that has one of every typing, right? So Extreme AGL, Extreme Tech, Extreme Int, Extreme SCR, Extreme Physical. Today we're going to do the Superclass version of this. So we just need to beat Omega with a full Superclass team. Super AGL, Super Tech, Super Int, Super SCR, Super Physical. Now, the villain one I can see being very tricky, right? Just the way Dokkan is, I mean, it's not... there's not really too much they can do, I think, with the disparity between villain characters and hero characters. The only solution to that, I really feel like, is to make the villain units just way better. I feel like villain characters seem to just always be like the best characters in the game, basically. Is how they can actually sort of like have a solution for that. Because guess what? Like, Saiyans, Goku, Gohan, Trunks, Vegito, Gogeta, these are the big money characters always. It's a gacha game. Like, that's what they're always going to be going to. There's always going to be more Superclass characters than villains, right? It's always going to be that way. But the Goku and Gohan unit getting the stun, beautiful, beautiful. So what that means, right, is that it's just going to be much more difficult, especially for, like, free-to-play players and stuff like that, to sort of accomplish some of these missions that would be here and there, right? So for the villain side, I mean, there's a few team setups you could try, but it's going to be tough. For this, this is easy. Just beating Omega with a full Superclass team, right, is not going to be tough. The only thing is you just want to make sure that whatever tech unit you're using is not a character that's going to get easily destroyed by Omega, right, with his huge damage attacks. But you could use the Goku and Gohan team. There's actually just so... By the way, okay, so this is a run where Omega's sealing and locking and stuff like that actually was a bit of a detriment. You guys know, with this Goku and Gohan unit at the end, the way you do want to play with them is to keep them on rotation. Get them their super attacks, right? You know, that way against this first phase of Omega, they could potentially stun, right? Then we could exchange into Gohan. Gohan, of course, is ridiculous. You really don't want to underrate how ridiculously powerful the exchanged Gohan is. I believe we get his beam counter in this run as well, which is helpful. But, you know, there's just actually so many teams you could do this with. So, because of how easy this is, I just was like, whatever, screw it. I'll just use the best for the best, and we'll use the Vegeta and Trunks team, right? Which you actually have unlimited setups, unlimited options. You just do whatever you want to with the Vegeta and Trunks team. Like, one thing is, I would argue Vegeta and Trunks are stronger as a unit than Cooler and Goku. But usually when I'm evaluating these big-time characters, I'm actually just doing it by their performance and usually not really taking leader skill into account too much, which is why on my TUR list, I always have the tech androids rated very highly, despite the fact that their leader skill is ass, right? But Vegeta and Trunks, they have the best team in the game by far. Like, there's actually literally nothing even close to what they can pull out for their team, right? It's inconceivable, I think, to even bring up another team in comparison to the Vegeta and Trunks team, right? So it's like, when it comes to a mission like this, it's like, yeah, no-brainer, right? Like, I could have brought in, we could have done so many teams, because you guys know, like, I've already no-itemed the full Red Zone, movie side, GT side, with all the 200% teams leading, well, except for Raditz and Majin Vegeta's teams. I could definitely do it with Majin Vegeta. I should do it with Majin Vegeta's teams, because especially with Vegeta and Trunks added there, like, now Vegeta actually has a Trunks who can allow Majin Vegeta to work at his best. So I definitely should and could do that. Raditz is, you know, Raditz is not the greatest, though, but there's so many Superclass teams we could do this with. Pan's team, we easily could do this with, I think. We could get this done with, again, the Goku and Gohan team, the STR Goku and Gohan we could do this with. We could do this with the LR Gods team. We could do this with the LR Super Saiyan 4's team. All of these teams, I think, would be pretty easy to potentially get this done. Because remember, it's not like you don't have to no-item this or anything. It's just beat it, right? Just win. That's all you have to do. And it's like, you know, if you have one of these big-time support memories, like for this run, we brought the Goku family buffing support memory. So the Goku and Gohan exchange unit, Kid Gohan, Future Gohan, Carnival LR Super Saiyan Goku, all of these characters are, you know, getting like an active skill type buff. How does Kid Gohan tank this? Very well done. Yeah. This ended up turning into a very good run for Kid Gohan, it looks like, right? Kid Gohan still can be a pretty powerful character. One thing I really would like to remind people, the content these days is so much stronger than our boxes. Like these bosses are so much stronger than us that it's more so like you really want to just utilize your it's like you don't want to trot out the same lineup to every single fight, right? Like, you don't just go, I want to use this unit, and we're going into every single fight. It's better to, you know, more so bring characters with advantages in these fights rather than trying to use the same ones over and over and over, right? Like, against Omega, you know, you want your very powerful physical units, and then, of course, you know, you want some AGL characters potentially for that second phase. Right, so it's like Kid Gohan can perform really well in this fight, especially because Omega, you can easily gain control of the fight early on by stunning Omega. And then you can get to, you know, kind of like this fight, and then, you know, Kid Gohan is stacking and stacking and stacking. And then you can get to the Omega's final phase, and you could potentially use his active skill or, you know, stack enough to where he's able to tank double digits, right? It certainly can work out pretty well. Yeah, so this run, I think, looks like it was just pretty clean, right? We're bringing a bunch of characters that can tank very well against Omega, right? I usually feel more comfortable bringing teams not full of characters who do a lot of damage but can get one-shotted, but of characters that could actually receive the attacks, right? Like, Omega, like this STR Sin could super in slot 2 or 3, and it doesn't mean that the run is automatically over, right? Which is very helpful for us. And then, of course, in terms of the tech character is the big sort of, like, worry, or the big, like, one you have to be careful about here. And for us, the tech character we're utilizing is Carnival Goku, right? Carnival Goku, of course, has nothing to be concerned about. So there we go. I think that there might only be a turn or two left right here. We're able to get the Gohan exchanged out on turn 9, which isn't the greatest, but that was because of Omega's locking at the start. Vegeta and Trunks, of course, are stacking. We know about Carnival Goku and his amazing abilities. If you guys notice, I did throw on LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I feel like a lot of people don't really understand a lot of times how to correctly use the 7th anniversary LRs. I feel like many times people, they just try and greed out way too many stacks from the Super Saiyan 4s and the gods. Typically in these really tough fights, it's like you can stack up forever, sure, but you really do just want to transform, right? Like, as soon as the fight becomes tough, right, in these second phases of these red zone fights, you do just want to transform right away. Even Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, I found, even without him potentially this is a Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. He does not have Saiyan Roar active. He does not have GT active, right? Like, we don't have him up with all of these super crazy links for him. And he's still able to perform really, really good, right? It's just, you don't want to just, like, leave the Super Saiyan 4s out, right? Or the gods out. You want to transform into the blues, transform into Super Saiyan 4s very fast, right? Because then, you know, you can rely upon, you know, you do the big time 18 key super, then you have, you know, the additionals coming in, and then your defense is just skyrocketing. You don't really have to worry about getting destroyed. And then, of course, they do have the attack break, you know, nullification ability as well, which can be very, very good in these very difficult fights right here. Now, one thing about this turn right here, we did have to rely on Gogeta's 50% chance to super attack counter Omega's super attack. We might have been able to live there. I don't know, because we don't have GT and Saiyan Roar active. That's a lot of defense. I mean, he is getting defensive support from Kid Gohan, but that's a lot of sort of like power, right, that we didn't actually have active that we could have, right? But he was able to get the counter, and then we still get the win, right? Oftentimes, I don't really use Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta unless I'm pairing him up with other GT Super Saiyan 4s. That's kind of the way, you know, to use those characters, the GT Super Saiyan 4s. But, you know, we're at a pretty good spot where, especially on this team, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is essentially like the last character on the team. He is really like the extra unit that I brought, and he performed well, right? We got his active skill off against STR Sin to sort of get through his phase earlier. Physical Future Gohan, of course, completely looking good. Like, this guy is good. Physical Future Gohan he's a really damn powerful character, right? I absolutely love that EC8UR. And then the STR Gohan will go ahead and finish it out. So, oh yeah, well, we got a double. Yeah, he does finish it off. We got a double. Omega actually had a sliver of health right there. What a joke. But there we go. There is that one done. Again, I just brought the strongest lineup I could. Vegeta and Trunks, Carnival Goku, stuff like that. Because a super class team, this will be the easiest of the 3 missions. The last one can be tricky where you have to beat Omega in 7 turns. I think the 7-turn one, and then of course the full extreme team, those are the ones that could potentially give players some issues, right? But there is what we use for the super class one. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.